Should Esulu be killed because she was born with the male and female reproductive organs? Welcome to Grandma's Stories. To enjoy more stories from us, please like, comment, and click the subscribe button. Once upon a time, in the land of Ugolo village of Osamala town, lived Esulu. She was the fairest of them all. Her skin glowed like the moon, her hair was longer than the tail of a horse, and her eyes were so bright and beautiful to behold. However, as beautiful as she was, Esulu was also born with Opiangopio, the male reproductive organ. When a seer confirmed that the child was a child of destiny, but if not well treated would bring doom to the village, the villagers became very scared and decided to throw her into the river, but the good king made a decree that whoever harms the little girl, shall be banished from the land. This decree did not settle well with some of the elders of the land, hence they plotted with some of the youths to sneak into the girl's home and kill both the girl and her parents, leaving no witnesses. Unknown to them, a passerby named Naturally heard their conversation and ran to notify Esulu's parents, who didn't believe that anyone from their village would dare to disobey the king. But on second thought, Esulu's parents begged Naturally to take the child to her maternal grandmother's village, while they wait to confirm Naturally's words. Naturally agreed, took the child and ran to Umyonyagwu. That same night, the youths hired by the wicked elders sneaked into Esulu's home asking to see Esulu. When they realized she was not there, they killed her parents and buried them inside their home, so nobody could find their bodies. When Naturally got to Umyonyagwu, she was told that Esulu's grandmother died many years ago and nobody knew how to get across to her daughter. Confused, Naturally sat down for a long while thinking of what next to do. At that same time, the king and queen of Umyonyagwu were taking a walk in the village. They saw Naturally from a distance and sent for her. When she got to the king, she lied to the king that her husband chased her away because she had a girl child. The king and his wife decided to take them home to protect them. He told his household that she was his sister. Naturally took very good care of Esulu with the help of the king and his wife, who actually didn't know Esulu's true secret, and many years later, Esulu grew to become the most beautiful princess of that land. Back in Ugolo village, the king at this time had become very old and frail, that he had to hand over the kingship to his son known as Orba. However, according to their custom, before Orba ascends the throne, he must have a wife, and both of them shall be crowned king and queen the same day, and shall consummate their union that same night, if they were not already married. Orba searched for a bride in his kingdom but found none. Every young maiden in the kingdom wanted to be Orba's queen. They flaunted themselves before him and at every given opportunity. But not one of them found favor in his eyes. One day, while every maiden in the land danced at the festival of maidens, Orba decided to go fishing in Naji River, which lies between Ugolo and Umyonyagwu villages. At that same time, Esulu came to the same river to play. She sat by the river bank and sang to the fishes. She asked them to come and play in her basket. In her song, she told the beasts to go away and allow the fishes to come and play. She promised the birds of the air that she will play with them another day. And as she sang, indeed the fishes came jumping in and out of her basket. Orba heard Esulu's voice and followed the sound until he got to where she was. He wondered why she was not catching the fishes, and she explained to him that you don't always take from the weak, but you also give to them, and this was her way of giving back to the fishes. They laughed at her explanation and she showed him where to throw his fishing hook to catch fishes, since he had caught nothing. He ended up catching a lot of fish, and both Orba and Esulu became very close friends, without knowing each other's true identities. They also kept meeting at the same spot. One day, Orba invited Esulu to his home, and before his parents, he asked her to marry him. She told him she must discuss with her family before responding to his proposal, to which he agreed. She discussed this with Naturally, who agreed for her to marry Orba, believing it could be her destiny, but she also advised her to be careful, and not to tell Orba anything about her secret until the right time. Now, according to the custom of the land, if they were not already married, Esulu would have to live in the palace for 7 days before the king's coronation ceremony, so she could acquaint herself with the final stages of the coronation process, and on the night of the 6th day, she would dance naked in front of the older women of the land and the queen mother. On hearing the custom of the land, Esulu ran to her favorite spot by the Naji River. And while crying and singing, she removed her clothes, looked up to the sky, and begged for help from beyond the sky. After a while, she felt a hand touch her, and as she looked, she saw a very beautiful old gray-headed being, dressed in a very long white raiment. Terrified Esulu almost ran away, but the voice of the being was so tender and comforting that she wondered what such a being would want with her. The being gave Esulu some clothes to cover herself, and explained to Esulu that she has a destiny to fulfill. She encouraged Esulu and instructed her to follow an unknown narrow path until she gets to an unknown tree house, where she will find an unknown creature, that will speak to her in a known voice. The being advised her to be sincere to this creature, and she will receive a most worthy gift, and then she should return to her with the gift. Esulu was confused but somehow determined to obey the being. So she did as was instructed. Meanwhile, unknown to Esulu, before the being appeared to her, a maiden who had also shown interest in Oba but was turned down, was swimming in the river when Esulu got to the river. Immediately after Esulu removed her clothes, the maiden noticed that Esulu had Opiangopio, instead of a Malyapati, the female reproductive organ. The maiden, believing she can win Oba's heart to herself with this news, sneaked out of the river and ran to the palace to notify the king's household of Esulu's secret. Surprised, Oba and his household rushed to the river, but met many different people engaged in their different activities in the river, but Esulu was not in their midst. When asked, nobody seemed to have seen Esulu that very day. The angry king decreed that after Esulu's dance in the presence of the village women, and if the women confirm the maiden's accusations to be true, Esulu shall face the consequences, but if the maiden's accusations turn out to be false, she shall be at Esulu's mercy or be banished from the land. The maiden happily agreed. The king also warned everyone present to speak no further about the issue, until after the dance. Esulu followed the path as described by the being, until she got to a strange tree standing right on the middle of the road. As she approached the tree, she noticed a hut, built right inside the tree. While she was wondering about the tree house, she heard a strange voice asking her what she was looking for. We will continue this story in another episode. To enjoy more stories from us, please comment, and click the like and subscribe buttons.